right, what's up, everybody? Got another episode of the Debate Squad. We're a little light on analysts today. Lala could not be here to host, so I'm hosting, but I'm also participating. And it's going to be me, Trey, and Kaylin. So to get right into it, what is you guys' biggest disappointment of the NBA playoffs so far?
I mean, my favorite player right now is Giannis. I am very, very disappointed in the Bucks. Don't get me wrong, the Heat are a good team, but there's just no way that, with the dominance they had throughout the regular season, there's no way that they should have been, booted out the playoffs like that. And, they got to do something. Giannis looked real shaky against that zone. He couldn't do anything with it. And I think that it's going to take him, I don't think he has truly studied the game. I think he has just been able to impose his will everywhere that he's played. And I think that he hasn't studied the game enough to where he's able to read the defense truly. So if he's able to, increase that IQ and maybe, be a better leader in that circumstance, I mean, he's still young, got a lot of room to grow. I think he's going to be fine, but I'm pretty disappointed that they only made it to the second round and then gentleman sweep at that.
For me, I'm just be honest, it was D-Book not making the playoffs. My baby should have made the playoffs.
Oh my gosh.
Yo, my baby did what he needed to do, and I just feel like he got cheated with it. But so that's my biggest disappointment. I would have loved to see him play. That would have been beautiful, I think. So I'm a little hurt by that still to this day, because
I mean, you're hurt, but they were barely invited to the bubble.
Oh my, but they got there.
They got there, but 8-0 in the bubble, that don't make up for all the losing they did in the regular season.
Potato, whatever.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Trey. I'm ready to hear it. I'm ready to hear it.
Well, if you follow me on Twitter or you've been in our group chat, you already know who the biggest disappointment of the NBA playoffs is to me. The front-running, big talk, fake tough guy, LA Flippers are the biggest disappointment of the playoffs. Easily. I mean, people crown Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi, not the guy, best player in the National Basketball Association. Kawhi Leonard, best basketball player in the NBA. No, not there. He won an NBA Finals MVP as a role player. They gave the award to for playing defense on LeBron James. Then he doesn't do anything else there once he's the guy. Gets traded to a great situation to Toronto, where they have a great nucleus already, got great role players, best GM in the league, a great young coach that we didn't know about yet. And he gets gifted into being able to run through the East with no LeBron and go right to the finals and face not the Golden State Warriors, but Steph Curry and the G League Warriors. He didn't even get to play the full strength Warriors, and he got credit for that. And a Finals MVP again. So now he comes to LA. He's the guy. He's the new king. Crown here, New Balance there. And they go through the season low managing. Paul George was hurt at the beginning of the year. Lou Will missed games. Montrezl Harrell missed games. Lou Will don't even pull it to the bubble until later because he got in trouble with the Wings at Magic City. I mean, these dudes felt like they had it won. But they barely get through the first round against the Mavericks when Kristaps Porzingis, their second best player, got ejected one game and missed 2 games due to injury. And I think Luka missed part of a game due to injury as well. They got that series in 6 to a team never been to the playoffs. And then they run into the Nuggets, go up 3-1 and lose 3 straight games to some guys that are just now finding their own in the NBA. Like it's sad. But you know, front runners and fake tough guys, they get what they deserve, and that's the biggest disappointment easily. Am I wrong?
Oh, you're absolutely right. Clippers were a huge letdown. But
Huge letdown.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like the Mavericks and the Nuggets were scrub teams either.
They don't have to be scrub teams, but they were not proven. Like the Nuggets, they won their first playoff series last year in 7 games, barely by San Antonio. They ended up losing to Portland. And then this year, they really should have lost to the Jazz if it wasn't for Mike Conley just playing for the other team. Like he was playing for the Nuggets that series.
Yeah,
he went 2 for 13, Game 7. Like
he was
they really should have lost that series as well. So
they were 3 seed.
Good team. I respect them, but it's not like they really should have been there anyway.
They were a 3 seed.
It's the bubble.
No. The regular season, the Nuggets was decent. We said that though.
They were decent, but it's the bubble.
And
they were the 3 seed. They were the 3rd best team in the West.
Against the Jazz, they were missing 2 starters.
I understand that.
It was Lakers, the Clippers, the Nuggets.
They still weren't supposed to win that series.
I'm just saying they weren't bums. That's all I'm saying. That's all. They
weren't, but they weren't supposed to be there.
Regardless, Clippers definitely they folded, man.
Oh,
they folded. And it's unacceptable.
That was terrible.
especially that Game 7 second half. That was just atrocious, man.
That's what it says.
That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. How can somebody, like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George?
Paul George sucks. I'm putting it all on Paul George. That's just me, though. He sucks. His whole bubble was terrible. He sucks. The man sucks, okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. No, that's your guy. He sucks. He's terrible.
I think that
come back overseas, please.
I think the Clippers started looking too far ahead early on in the bubble, and that they were not focused on the task at hand. And that's on the leadership. That comes back to Kawhi. Paul George, his head wasn't in the bubble, but for maybe 3 games. And again, that points back to the leadership. That just shows that Kawhi Leonard, doesn't have that leadership that we expect all these great players to have. Now, I'm not going to take away from his talent, but that's embarrassing, man. That's embarrassing. Like, there's just no way that you can be, not only the favorite to win a championship, seen as better than LeBron in a lot of people's eyes, and be up 3-1 against a team full of babies, as you say, Trey, and lose. And then on top of that, what is it? 1, maybe 2 field goals in the second half of Game 7? Of Game 7.
He didn't even get a free throw. He didn't even get a attempted free throw.
No free throws.
Like, bro, you could have went in there and just
some layups and all.
Nothing. It's a disgrace. And then Paul George. Paul. Don't even. Oh my God.
Wait, that's P.
He's got to do some soul searching. He definitely does.
He lost it. I'm sorry.
Whoa. We're not
finna. He lost it, Trey.
Trey,
he lost it.
It's the I can't. Things are difficult mentally in there. He had a rough playoffs, but don't just say his whole career is down the draft of 1 series.
I can't say that. I think Paul George has struggled with trying to find his fit as the number 2 guy. I don't think that I think he'll say it out loud, like he's okay not taking all the shots and being the go-to guy. But I think I just think that he needs to be able to fit in better. And I think he's taking a lot of shots because he feels like he has to, and not necessarily because they're good shots. And, you know, he's got to get out of that. He's got to get out of it, especially in playoff time. Playoff time, you know, yes, you're Paul George. Yes, you are supposed to be one of the leading scorers on this team. But in that same instance, when you're not hitting anything at all, when you hitting the side of the backboard, you know, you've got to be able to do other things. And, you know, a lot of those other things that we see Paul George as being good at, you know, he was falling through on those too. I mean, even, you know, from a defensive standpoint, he wasn't doing anything, you know, that we would expect of him. I mean, Luka torched him. And in that game 7, Jamal Murray had, what do you have, 40? Like, you can't do it. If you're Paul George 40. Or Kawhi Leonard, you're supposed to be the best wing defenders in the league, okay? And if your shot's not going in as a basketball player, as someone who can impact the game on both sides of the ball, you've got to do something. You have to. You have to. And that's the bottom line. That's just flat out embarrassing.
Who do you expect to be in the finals? Who do you expect to win, and in how many games?